Hey guys, I'm Allie and this is Treat Your Shelf. So today we are going to be doing a video called If You Liked This Book, Then You Will Also Like Reading This Book. These are one of my favorite videos to watch actually because you just get so many recommendations and suggestions and you know that you already like this book, so you think you'll probably like that book. It just really helps you on what to read next if you are struggling with all the books that are out in the world and not knowing which one to read next. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so disclaimer, I just got my reading chair from home. My family visited this weekend and they brought it to me, so huge thanks to them because now I have somewhere to video and read all of my wonderful books, so thanks so much. But anyways, my first one is if you enjoyed reading The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, you will also enjoy The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. I loved both of these books. I read both of these this month actually. I just got done with this like an hour ago actually, so it's fresh in my mind. But they are both about the world wars. This one takes place World War II, this one takes place the First World War, and they're both obviously historical fiction. They both follow around female protagonists, female characters that are strong and that really fight for their country. But this one is about a girl named Isabel, and she is part of the resistance movement in World War II, and she helps rescue airmen who have had their planes like downed by the German soldiers. She was central in the Second World War, and even though her character is fiction, there was obviously characters like these in real life. So we gotta love Isabel. But this one is about this girl named Eve who is a spy in the First World War, and she actually works at a restaurant in France so that she can listen in on the German soldiers' conversations, which is awesome. They don't know she knows German, so she's like just this unassuming little girl. So they are both taking place in France, even though they're two different wars. You really fall in love with the female characters. I liked the Alice Network probably a little bit better than the Nightingale because I think the Nightingale is more like YA writing in my opinion than the Alice Network. The Alice Network is just very adultish and stuff like that, and the romance in the Alice Network is actually like one of my favorite romance stories, so it's really good. But they both were solid 5 stars in my opinion. So the next one is 2 Christian living books. So if you liked Gods at War by Kyle Idleman, then you will like Fervent by Priscilla Shirer. These reminded me of each other a lot. Even though this is obviously by a male, this is by a female, they're both very similar. They talk about different temptations and gods that we face every single day and how we're at a spiritual war and we need to overcome them. So basically they talk about like the love of money and power and success and pleasure and all this other stuff. So they are really good devotional books in my opinion. I really liked them a lot, and they really opened up my eyes to some issues that we all face every single day. So these are very good if you want some good devotional books. The next one is if you liked The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, then you will like The Trap by Melanie Robb. These two are really great thrillers. Like, they had me on the edge of my seat big time. They have a lot of twists and turns in them. You literally never know what's happening. They both are about women who are stuck in their homes because they're agoraphobic, and even though the woman in the window, she like witnesses a murder at her like neighbor's house, and she can't really trust herself because she's on so many like pills, medications, and alcohol and all this other stuff. Like, she drinks with medication, which is not good, boys and girls. But anyway, she doesn't know if she's hallucinating or not, and it ends up like just crazy stuff happens, and she is just in very dangerous situations, much like The Trap, which is about a girl who witnessed her sister being murdered and actually like saw the face of the murderer, and she ends up seeing him like he's a news anchor or something crazy. Like, I feel like I would be in hiding if I was a legit murderer and knew that like a person saw me and she's still alive. But anyways, So that woman is agoraphobic as well because she's obviously too scared to go out of her house because she knows, you know, the local murderer just chilling on the news. So a lot of crazy stuff happens, twists and turns all around, and both of these books were solid 5 stars in my opinion as well. I think that I liked The Woman in the Window better. The writing style was a lot more complex, but these both are great books. And the next one is if you liked Beautiful Boy by David Sheff, then you will like A Very Fine House by Barbara Stoeffin, I think. Their children are both addicted to meth, but they both are very strong emotional memoirs about the epidemic that is literally raging in our country that a lot of people don't even talk about or don't know true statistics, but they are so good. They really open up your eyes to a lot of things that are happening. They both talk about like the logistics and statistics of drug addiction and how prominent it is in America, and I just really loved them both. I think I liked Beautiful Boy better because I really liked the movie, so I kind of felt a little bit more connected to this book, but Very Fine House is amazing as well. And if you really want to learn about the things that are happening in our country, then you need to read those. If you liked Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance, and I think that you will like The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. So even though these kind of are a little bit different, Jeanette Walls, she kind of goes more into a narrative look in her life. They're both memoirs, but J.D. Vance is more kind of like statistics about the Appalachian people and poverty in America and stuff like that. So I really learned a lot about him, but they both are really solid. They both talk about poverty and kind of getting out of poverty. They both obviously got out of poverty and wrote books about their lives. They're both memoirs. They are really strong. I really like them a lot, and they're kind of both about how the families are closed-minded to even making a better life for themselves. So they really struck me as similar. I think I liked The Glass Castle a little bit better, but J.D. Vance is great in his writing. And also, if you want to check out another book by Jeanette Walls, Half Broke Horses, it's about her grandmother, and J.D. Vance also writes about his grandmother, and they kind of just remind me of each other. I don't really know why. They're both very strong-willed and stubborn, so definitely check this out if you liked the grandmother component of J.D. Vance's story. And the very last one that I have for you is if you liked The Death of Miss Westaway by Ruth Ware, then you will like After the Funeral by Agatha Christie. I talked about both of these in my April wrap-up, but they're just really similar. They both deal with funerals and like patriarchs slash matriarchs of the families dying and passing on their estate to their other family members, and like crazy stuff happens. Obviously murders all around, you know, the typical Agatha Christie story. But actually Ruth Ware is often referred to as like the modern Agatha Christie, so they definitely remind me of each other. She even alludes to Agatha Christie in this book. Really, if you like any Agatha Christie novel, then you will like any Ruth Ware novel. They are both very similar, deal with a lot of like whodunit crimes and stuff that you really don't even expect, and you won't know whodunit until the very end. So they're both great. Both legendary in my opinion. Death of Miss Westaway was just stellar. But anyways, so that is my if you like this book, then you will like this book video. And I hope that you guys subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video.